What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Thomas Take. Sorry about that. I had to cut part one a little bit short. I needed to get a drink of water. I thought I had a water bottle next to me, but I did not. Sorry about that. So, let's just say we went to commercial break. We don't have any sponsors, but let's just say we did. So, Tom Coughlin and the Buffalo Bills Part 2. I think today I really want to talk about this fit because of one man. And that man is not Tom Coughlin. That man is not Doug Whaley. That man is not Terry Pegula. But one man and one man only. That is Buffalo Bills wide receiver Sammy Watkins. I want to talk about some of the things that he said today as the Buffalo media interviewed him while he was at his locker. Basically, the gist of what Sammy Watkins said was the fact that they need a coach that is a disciplinarian. They need a coach that can come in and really hold the players accountable for mistakes that they have made. And he wants one key component, and that is discipline. Quote, straight from Sammy's mouth, he said, I think they just have to come in and whatever coach that we have, and I think Anthony Lynn is a great coach, he has that demeanor, that leadership, but the new coach has to change what needs to be changed. Change the culture, change the mindset, and get players on board. If they're not listening, cut them, kick them out, whatever. Sit them on the bench. I think that will help us move forward. Coach Dabo Swinney, the head coach of Clemson, was strict, and that's why I think he changed the culture. He changed the players, and we started winning. We started to expect to win. Every game I came into, I never thought I was going to lose it. That's what we've got to do here. Situations here, sometimes guys look at games, they start name-dropping Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown. Who cares? They're great players, but they do the same thing that we do. We've got to step up and play against those guys. Watkins said not making the playoffs in each of his first 3 seasons with the Bills has been stressful. In college, I probably lost 5 games, 6 games my whole career, he said. Coming here losing 4 in a row, it's a culture. That's something that we've got to change, whether it's the players, coaches, organization, the mindset of us. We've got to change. We've got to think like the fans. Be all in. Whatever happens, we win the game, we come out on top. That's what we've got to do. And Watkins believed the only way to do that is through hard coaching. He went on to talk about penalty flags, lateness, just lackadaisical effort from the players on the team. And I think that's huge. I think for a player of Sammy Watkins' prominence within the Buffalo Bills organization, when he is saying things like this, when he is making statements such as this, the Buffalo Bills brass needs to listen. I think Sammy Watkins is right. I think they need somebody like this to hold the guys accountable on the team, to make sure that these guys are doing what they need to do, because a little bit of that is true. Most of it is true. And a little bit of a disciplinary coach could go a long way. Now, when talking about Tom Coughlin, when Coughlin was a part of a Pro Football Life. It was a Football Life, the NFL Network TV series. Michael Strahan, the Hall of Fame defensive end, said that he hated Tom Coughlin when he first got to the Giants. He hated the fact that Tom Coughlin was pushing the veterans around, pushing every single player to do better. But in the end, he loved him for it because they ended up with a Super Bowl ring. That goes to show you the type of mentality that Tom Coughlin has. And whether he's 71 or 75 or 76, I don't care. If Tom Coughlin thinks that he can coach and help a team win, I want to at least bring him in for an interview. I want to know what he is capable of. And I want to see. I want him to make his case as to why he should get another NFL head coaching shot. And I think he has a very valid one. As I said in part 1, he's got 2 Lombardi trophies probably in his office that say he's a good head coach, that say he's a great head coach, one of the best head coaches of the last 20 years without a doubt. And a guy that has a penchant for defense, a guy that can handle the divas on offense in Odell Beckham and the Jimmy Smiths and the Keenan McCardells of his days in Jacksonville, he has seen it all, Tom Coughlin. So why not bring a guy in with experience? Why go the route of bringing in a first-time head coach yet again, which has time and time again failed? They brought in Rex Ryan. Obviously, people are going to say now, after I've just said this, that, wait a minute, they brought in Rex Ryan. He had experience, and that didn't work. We know why Rex Ryan didn't work. Rex Ryan didn't work because of the fact that they changed their defense from a 4-3 to a 3-4. That was why the Rex Ryan hire failed. That reason and that reason alone. The defense did not gel together fast enough for Terry Pegula's liking. And I understand that. Do I think 2 years is enough time for a head coach to lead a team to a playoffs? I do not. But Terry wants to win, and he wants to win now. I think the best way to do that is if they bring in a guy like Tom Coughlin. To me, when I look at these other guys, which I will get into in future podcast episodes, obviously the experience that Tom Coughlin has exceeds everybody else. So in terms of experience, if I want experience as my next head coach to be a main factor in hiring my next head coach, I should say, I would really take a long look at Tom Coughlin. He has the notoriety within the league to bring in great coordinators, to bring in great position coaches. That's something that gets lost on a lot of fans, that this coach is a fresh new coach. They think it's great that he's new, that he has an 0-0 record. It's not, because of the fact the fact of the matter is, he comes into the NFL for the first time. He can't bring in the coordinators that a Tom Coughlin can, because he does not have the notoriety that Tom Coughlin has. Case in point, Doug Marrone had Nathaniel Hackett as our offensive coordinator. Nathaniel Hackett has been the quarterback's coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Doug Marrone has been the offensive line coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Until Gus Bradley got fired, Marrone is now the interim head coach, and Nate Hackett is the offensive coordinator. Roll my eyes at that. Tom Coughlin hired Ben McAdoo from the Green Bay Packers, and Ben McAdoo was their offensive coordinator with great success in developing Odell Beckham and Eli Manning, and really helped the New York Giants. And now Ben McAdoo took Tom Coughlin's place. So that could be something that the Buffalo Bills could really look at. Could Tom Coughlin come in here for 2-3 years and help groom our next head coach in waiting? Maybe Anthony Lynn stays on as their offensive coordinator and Tom Coughlin works with Anthony Lynn. I don't know, maybe not. That's just something that just dawned on me. That's a possibility. Or, another guy. Maybe Tom Coughlin brings in his offensive coordinator, a younger guy, and he helps him win. Maybe a defensive coordinator like Steve Spagnuolo comes in here, being that Tom Coughlin is in Buffalo. He leaves the Giants to come to Buffalo and helps revitalize this defense. Tom Coughlin is a defensive coach. I think we need to stick with the defensive coach. We need to emphasize that side of the ball. Their offense has been fairly adequate in certain instances throughout the season. Obviously, you have to focus on both sides, but for their defense to really have the talent that it had, and for the talent that it has to completely fall apart, the emphasis needs to be put on that side of the ball. There's 23 pending free agents with this Buffalo Bills team heading into the offseason. That's 23 out of 53 guys. Not good. That just goes to show that Doug Whaley has done a very piss-poor job at being the GM. Tom Coughlin is a Syracuse guy. Russ Brandon is a Syracuse guy. If Russ Brandon's going to stay on, then maybe they could make that connection. They made that connection once before with Doug Marrone, who worked with Tom Coughlin. Let's get the guy that has had other guys work for him, not the guys that work for him. Let's get the actual guy, not the position coaches. Let's bring in a guy that's got pedigree and success and Super Bowl trophies. 2 Super Bowls over one Super Bowl over one of the greatest teams to ever play the game in the 2007 Patriots, and another Super Bowl in one of the next greatest teams to play the game in the 2011 Patriots, I believe. It was the first year they had Gronkowski and Hernandez. Hernandez is now fallen on hard times, obviously, but that was a tough offense to stop, and he was able to twice on the biggest stage in football. So I like the idea of Tom Coughlin coming to the Bills. At first I thought, maybe not, but I think he could be what they need. I think he could be a guy that could help utilize Sammy Watkins in the offense, help shore up this defense that has been so lazy over the last 2 years, and really provide this team with some respectability. I think that's the biggest determining factor of this hire. The Bills are not respected right now. Jim Trotter went on ESPN yesterday and said, on NFL Insiders, said that the Bills are a dumpster fire. We don't want that. We don't want that MO attached to our team. Let's go out and get a guy that's going to bring us respectability. I think Tom Coughlin would do that. He's my first candidate for the Buffalo Bills head coaching position that I would like to see the Bills hire. That was the Thomas Take, Part 2, and the final part of tonight's show. Thanks for tuning in.